This presentation will focus on the baby boom generation. The baby boom generation, the baby boomers from 1946 to 1964. A few things about the baby boomers. They're lifelong learners. They're dedicated to work. They're competitive, very competitive. They're focused on self-improvement. They have a young mindset, even though they're in their 60s, mid to late 60s now. Some even in their 70s, approaching 70. They feel young and independent. They're very optimistic. As a whole, the baby boomers are a generation, a cohort to be reckoned with. Just watch your commercials in the evening. They're very influential on advertising because they're such a large cohort and have a lot of money to spend. Some of the things the baby boomers experienced, the Dick and Jane series, primers came out of their era, the space program, the Cold War, and Sputnik was a big deal with the Russians getting into outer space, Kennedy's assassination, before that his challenge to have a man on the moon, to challenge the Russians in the space race, Vietnam, and all the tragedy with that, coming home, and the lack of respect for the military. Civil rights came out of the baby boomers, some generational experience, Woodstock, the Kent State shootings on campus there in Ohio, with the National Guard. Again, students who were protesting drugs and rock and roll. The drug culture, Motown sound, was also developed and created during the boomer experience. Some things to keep in mind about boomers in the classroom. They're active learners. They do enjoy interaction and participation. They're averse to authority, but they are motivated by winning. The learning process is important as the outcome. They prefer organized, succinct learning content, and they want to stand out in the crowd. Just keep that in mind as you work with boomers. Many of you will have that opportunity, as many of them are going back even to take classes just as a hobby, something to do instead of staying home being bored. A few more ideas working with the boomers in the classroom. Treat them as equals. Don't be authoritative to them or talk down to them. We want to be real careful with that. Also, do not embarrass them. If there's a wrong answer, say, well, maybe there's another way to look at that, but don't embarrass them either. You'll lose them. Encourage dialogue and interaction. Practice politeness with the boomers. Be fair and democratic, and they'll respect you for that. Respect and acknowledge boomers' knowledge and experience, what they have to contribute to the class. Be careful not allow one person to kind of dominate just because they're older than you, perhaps, or they've got experience in a certain area and they may want to tell their story. You just kind of have to guard that a little bit, but do acknowledge their knowledge and experience and allow them to contribute in that way. Treat them as if they're young. They strive to be modern and